Yes, very, very, very good evening to all of you. Today we have one of the exciting sessions of the IDC Alumni Talk. It is talk number 48. I am extremely pleased to invite Dr. Neeta Verma on behalf of the alumni of IDC. I have shared the profile earlier, and also I have pasted the profile in the text box for you to read up. I mean, it's a very, very extensive profile that if you look at the kind of trajectory of Dr. Neeta Verma's career, and especially in the public services, it is phenomenal. And the details of the kind of projects that she has delivered is all in the profile you could read up. I just want to highlight that beyond all that, Dr. Neeta Verma is a technocrat. Of course, that's her background, and that's the role that she had delivered for the government. But more importantly, for us in this community, that we need to know that Dr. Neeta Verma is a great, great, what do you say, uh, supporter of design. And in the kind of exchanges that we have had during the build up to these sessions, the kind of things that she has spoken about to us in terms of how design is a make or break for a whole lot of government services is extremely inspiring. And of course, this is the topic that she's very close to her heart, and she wanted to talk to the community, not only in terms of giving us a good overlay of what is happening in terms of public services, but also keen to take some very exciting, interesting, implementable ideas from the design community to actually further the cause of public services. This is going to be a very inspiring and exciting session, I know. And more importantly, I think there is also going to be a lot of possibilities for designers to find opportunities to engage and help improve the public services in this country. With that, I hand over the session to Dr. Neeta Verma. Ma'am, the session is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Good evening, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure and, in fact, a privilege to be talking to all of you on this topic. And as Ravi said, I very strongly feel that that design plays an important role when we are delivering public services. And at this point of time, it is very crucial because when you're trying to extend these services to people who are at the last mile or who are the farthest at the bottom of the pyramid and who have a variety of challenges, or I should say diversity, and their design really plays an important role. With that background, let me, so since you all are designers, so I'm not going to give you any design sermons, you know much better than me. I am only going to tell you what is the context in which we are operating in government. As you know, I spent most of my career in doing technology and digital in government, and what kind of IT systems today are already operational. What is their complexity? What is their spectrum in terms of their size and their veracity? So I'm just going to take you through this, and then perhaps we'll come to a realization that why it is important to draw an attention to design these systems in the way that they really become digitally inclusive. Because I believe if we don't do this, we may land up into another problem of digital divide. With this, last 5 years or so, we have seen a transformation as far as digital profile of our country is concerned. Today, with the 1.38 billion population, we have 1.14 billion mobile connections, 800 million smartphone users, equal number of broadband connections, and around 840 internet users. We have fiber going to 600,000 villages, and we have 160,000 apps from Indian publishers on Google Play. And this whole scenario has not only exponentially grown over the time, this and COVID has further accelerated this adoption of digital. And therefore, today, digital is at the core of any organization, big or small, private or public. Digital transformation is at every place, and that is the reason government is also leveraging on this new or a kind of such evolved digital proliferation, and at the same time appetite for people uh, to consume services and information digitally. And and therefore a lot of work is happening in terms of how do you really redesign existing services with the government, so that it is many of the services were earlier offered in assisted mode through kind of last mile centers, like village level centers, block level centers, or common service centers. So it was in assisted mode. Not much of this was earlier in the self service mode, where government could directly connect with citizens. There has been these transformations going on for last 1 year or so, but with this new 2 3 years, I should say, it has been further it has again brought into the focus, and it's really growing now at an exponential rate. Now when we talk of, I don't know why it is not moving. When we talk of government services, what is the kind of services one takes from government? Right from issuing, from your birth certificate to caste certificate to marriage certificate to all other kinds of certificates, issuing of licenses, be it license for driving or license for starting any new business or permits, your pensions, old age pensions, all other kind, army pensions, scholarships for students, insurance, health insurance, crop insurance, and all other kind of insurance. Taxes we all are connected with, whether it is direct tax like income tax or indirect tax like GST and all. Registration of land, registration of property, registration of your company, and so on and so forth. Last but perhaps very, very important is the distribution of subsidy under various welfare programs of the government. And with this, now we also have what we fondly call digital stack, or India stack rather, in which we have these things which have really now have pan India acceptance and pan India implementation. Aadhaar, which has given a unique identity to every Indian. E-sign, which helps you in putting submitting your documents in digital form. Bank accounts and DBT in together has become a very, very powerful instrument in transferring subsidy to the direct bank accounts of citizens or the beneficiaries. DigiLocker to keep your documents, which can be digitally verified. Digital messaging gateway through which we could connect with every citizen, and 1.1 billion mobile phones. It really gives a lot of power in terms of government to connect with citizens individually. UPI, digital payments, all of you have seen the benefits of this. And therefore there's been an effort to make government services faceless, cashless, paperless, so that the need for citizen to go to government or business to go to government office can be completely eliminated. And in the recent past, you must have seen the transport sector, and in some other sectors, some services have already achieved this level of faceless, cashless. In fact, Delhi government has closed most of its RTOs because, barring one or two services, all their services has gone into faceless, where one doesn't need to go to do, whether it is to do with your vehicle or whether it is to do with your driving license. So now, and more and more services are getting into transforming into this kind of a mode. And what they are riding is on the already built digital platforms around these schemes, on which now they are, by putting in Aadhaar and all the new technologies, trying to make services into this faceless manner, into a manner. Let me just try and give you a glimpse of some of the important or the platforms, digital platforms operational. Each of this platform is, is interacting with millions and millions of people, and some of them have actually with billions. This is something you all have heard of, this public distribution system, which is ration, which we often call. 23.6 crore families who have ration card have been the ration is being distributed. and the complete cycle is online managed through 5.32 lakh pause enabled fair price shops, so that each and every beneficiary who has withdrawn a ration is all accounted there. And the next cycle of ration or the grains given to the fair price shop owner depends on how much sale he has done in the last month, kind of a thing. And over and above, it still used to be a problem with the migrant workers, that if they are living in Bihar, but now they are working in, let's say, Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh. So how will they draw their ration? With this one nation, one ration card, now you could be living anywhere, you could have ration card anywhere, but you could draw your ration anywhere. So much so, even half of the family could draw at one place and the remaining family could draw at the other place. This is all these kind of complex technology platforms, dealing with such large, because when you say 23.69 crore ration cards on an average a family of four, so we are somewhere reaching 90 crore population whom we are touching with this just one system. Similarly, PM Kisan, which is basically a system in which we are registering the farmers, and farmers could self-register, they could register through assisted mode, and about 10 crore farmers on a quarterly basis, subsidies being or is transferred to directly to their bank accounts. And all this information, farmers can track themselves, that when was their subsidy transferred, by what kind of a note it was transferred, and so on and so forth. Similarly, there's a system called fertilizer subsidy, which right from demand generation to procurement of raw material to production, it's supply through rail, road, ports, and finally is sale at the last mile through this 2.3 lakh retail shops. Through a POS machine, it is being sold to each of the farmer. And this complete system is transparent, and each and every movement can be seen on a digital platform. And now you look at it, the purpose of this whole was done to ensure that timely and adequate supply of subsidized fertilizers is being given to the farmers. You understand, in the case of farming, the right timing is very important for them to have this fertilizer available at a subsidized cost. And this whole information is available, farmers can easily do, and there are interfaces also available for them. But the point is that, are they really able to use it themselves? Is it available in their language? Is it available in the mode which is easy to use? So despite having smartphones, because we have 800 million smartphones in this country, still are they able to make use of this information to empower themselves? This is one of the largest employment guarantee program and one of the largest program in the government, with a budget of 73,000 crores. This is where people who are unemployed can basically register themselves. They can demand work. Work is allocated to them, all available online, and then muster roll and all those things. And finally, once they have done the work, the wage is transferred to their bank account directly through a DBT platform. See, about 15.28 crore people are connected with the system who are demanding the work. And if you look at it, about 126 crore 126 crore person days work has been generated. So this is the complexity of the program, and all kinds of technologies are being made use so that, to ensure an effective implementation of the program, to ensure that maximum number of people who do not have any employment are being benefited, and the right kind of people are benefited onto this. So all tools that way are available. The question is, how many of them who are there at the ground are really able to use it themselves? Because as you know, in today's world, information is power. And if I have this information, I am able to apply for these things myself. I can track my payments. I think all of us can very well appreciate how will it empower to each one of them. Sorry, I think it's yeah. Similarly, we have this National Scholarship Portal, which is for the scholarship application of children from class 1 to class 12, and then for the higher education. About 4 crore beneficiaries are there on this portal. On single portal, They can apply for over 115 schemes of the government through a single form. That's the complexity of this form, and each of this approval goes through multiple processes of workflow and all. And about 17,000 crores in the form of scholarships have been distributed through this platform. And every child can apply, or parents can apply directly onto this portal for scholarship. This is for the higher education when you're trying to take admission into any professional college, be it IITs, IIMs, NITs, medical colleges. So about 38 counseling boards, 405, 4,500 institutions. Students can, on a common portal, they can apply for the exam, undergo the exam, see their result, and then basis their rank, they can do the complete process of counseling online, where you have repeated rounds, first round, second round, and they can always see the seat availability. And very, very popular platform across all the people who are in that age group, and has really made life simple, not only for the children but also for their parents. E-hospital is a system which is like any other hospital management system, but it has another module called ORS. Out of 631, 478 hospitals already have this ORS means online registration. If you look at AIMS or any other big government hospitals, generally there are long queues for getting an appointment with the doctor. And then also, supposing if you have to go through some kind of a surgery, unless it's an urgent, it may sometimes be a long list kind of this things. And to avoid people this coming and taking appointments and standing in long queues, this system is done where you can online through a mobile app seek appointment. You take your appointment, and on that particular day, particular time only, you go to the hospital. And then your all that misery which you have to go through in standing in queues and taking an appointment, and sometimes coming back without even getting a time because queue was very long, all that can be eliminated if you use this online, and many people are already using it. Arogya Setu, many of you have used, which has now transformed into a vaccination app, telemedicine app, is a holistic health app now. And you can also get your unique health ID, which is what National Health Authority introduced. Because once you have this health ID, you can, and as it's become popular, you will be able to see a longitudinal view of your health record, irrespective of the point which hospital, as long as that hospital is registering that ID, all that record you could see in one app. So your effort of carrying your reports and X-rays and MRIs to in those big bags from one hospital can be really reduced to a great extent. E-way bill is a system for the transporters and business people, big and small, which is a self-service platform to generate permit for movement of goods. Government has abolished check posts and all. Everybody can generate their permit, and then while their truck has to be, when they are transporting goods from one place to the other place. Again, you can see it's a very popular, and this is the only way to kind of work. So such a large number of people are already connected with this, which is not only big, but a lot of small businesses are also, and small transporters are also connected. E-courts is another where the this thing, and so many instruments have been built up, like the kiosks in court complexes where you can access information about your cases. Services available on ecourts.gov.in. There's a mobile app through which you will be able to access this information. MyGov is again another where policy basis engagement could be done with the government. Around 2.48 crore citizens are already connected on a regular basis, are interacting with government on various subjects. If the famous policy of national education policy had complete consultation on this platform. Jivan Praman is basically digital life certificate for the pensioners, so that their need to go to the any nearest bank or to their own bank can be eliminated. Right on the mobile, through their face verification, they can submit their digital life certificate. Similarly, is transport. Almost everything in transport through a unified platform. It's a huge public digital platform which connects to almost every entity, whether it's insurance company, transporters, automobile manufacturers, everybody connects to this system to deliver services. I mean, there's a single source of truth as far as our vehicle or our driving license is concerned. Land records, you just see on the right side, about 31 states, 5,75,000 villages, that there's a land records already available in public domain. That's it. But and you see, if everybody could access these land records and could really navigate through them, then a lot of these frauds which happen around land sale and on registration could perhaps can come down, because you have the way to check the truth behind that particular sale deed. Public finance management, all these schemes, about 12,653 schemes across India, all these direct benefit transfers are being done to, this is a beautiful system and one of its kind in India, maybe in the world also. 587 banks in the country are connected to. So you could send payment to any bank account of any beneficiary anywhere in India by just doing a single click. And around 830 million beneficiaries are registered. Not only they get the payment, they can always interface with the platform and get details that under which scheme, how much payment, when has come to their bank account. They don't have to go to the bank to ask for these information. So if you look at these platforms, they are very technically very powerful platforms. They are generally operating at a national level. That means one nation, one platform. They're very robust in terms of to be able to give service to millions and billions of citizens. But often it has been seen that these platforms are, or mobile apps are not really very easy for the to be used by the people who need them the most. And this is where I have a fear that despite making such robust platforms, it somewhere should not lead into a kind of a digital divide. Because, and it is very important at this point of time, because of two reasons. One is because we are now proliferating these things at a larger level. There's been exponential growth into this system. Secondly, today we have technologies, particularly with language technologies and audio video technologies and all these machine learning, that we are in a position to address those challenges which we have because of the unique demography we have. Like, many of these systems will be either working in English or maybe only in regional language. So accessibility in terms of language, in terms of technology, in terms of literacy is a huge issue when when you're trying to access this system. And even if supposing to be able to use those applications, usability is another aspect which kind of becomes a barrier for those people to use these systems. And thirdly is the complexity. Many of time, the existing system is transformed into digital form as it is. And therefore, the whole thing becomes very complex, because you had certain steps in that process, because on paper, it was not possible to really bypass those. But digitally, a lot of those things can be handled differently. It also needs so what I'm trying to say is that design, I'm not talking design from only aesthetic point of view or from experience of navigation, but design also needs to be addressed from the point of view that how do you design? Maybe you need to design the service all over again to be offered in digital medium. And this is a concern which is not only within we have here. This kind of concern has been expressed by governments globally. This is something I have picked from internet, and I just read couple of lines from you. Like it says, digital equity must be baked in the start. Silicon Valley's digital products prioritize simplicity for user at the expense of complexity behind the scenes. Many government programs place the burden of complexity on citizens, especially marginalized and at-risk groups. Another where it is written, that particular scheme US government had launched, and they say the families who missed this opportunity to avail this scheme were more often the people who had low income, less educated, and non-English speaking. So this is the concern everywhere. And just to give you some glimpse, that some of the countries have taken in the last 3 4 years, 2 years, other I should say 2 or 3 years, taken some steps in this direction. Like Singapore government has a government digital service, which is a new thing kind of carved out, and which is basically focusing, like if you can see on right on the first page, bringing the best of tech into government and design for citizens, engineer with care, where the focus on this user interface, user experience, and the whole design is more from the with user at the center, or citizen at the center, I should say. Similarly, if you see at the bottom, this is UK, who also have this similar kind of a thing called government digital service, or some such name they have. And they also have, in fact, they have come up with the separate portal where they have put in this UCC gov.uk styles, components, and patterns, in which we have made them available for all the people who are building digital systems to use these things to at least achieve some base level of design uh, standard, or whatever you may call it. US government also has similar kind of a digital system. You could see right on their first page, using design and technology to deliver better services to the American people. So all I'm saying is that this is a concern which is not only in India, it is everywhere, and people have tried to address, because it has been realized that unless we address this concern and design these public services for digital equity, we may land up into another digital divide. And the whole purpose of when we are using digital technology is reach is one of the important aspects, so that we can reach to almost everyone. But if we don't focus on design and don't focus on all those things, sometimes despite using best of technology, we may miss on that objective. So what I'm trying to say is the interface between government and its people is incredibly important. Digital equity is beyond providing access to devices and reliable connectivity. Creating digital equity requires designing services centered around the user. When I'm saying user, I'm saying that last mile user who will really have all those attributes of diversity and variety of challenges. uh, and there, as I was saying initially, the design should not only focus on the functionality of the interface. Rather, I feel design can take it further. It can create that positive experience and effective interface with the people. It can really create that magic uh, to generate enthusiasm about a scheme and motivate people to really apply for these schemes and avail benefit. The whole experience of searching from information to applying and getting a benefit can be designed into beautiful experience that more and more people are motivated to kind of connect to these systems. I mean, this is something I've been. I mean, this is something I've been realizing for last couple of years, that there's a pertinent need. And as I said, need was always there. Perhaps technologies were not that mature, particularly language technologies and text to speech, speech to text kind of conversation. More importantly, Indian languages. And but today, since all of that is there, and so we've been trying to talk to these design tech companies and also individual basis to other design agencies, but somehow I have not seen the kind of enthusiasm. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'll be happy to be proven wrong. To that they are motivated to do these kind of designs for public good or for public digital services. I do not know how do we motivate them, but and this talk was one of the reason behind this to maybe talk to you, and in case there are any concern, I'll be happy to hear. One side, while we need to motivate our designers, I think there is also a lack of awareness, or I should say sensitization, within government functionaries about the role of UI UX design in successful adoption of digital platform, particularly by people across this thing. So that sensitization also should be done at the same time. Maybe some kind of a focus should be done arising conferences, particularly on these themes, workshops, or we do a lot of hackathons, maybe some kind of design challenges, focus on, like we say, AI for social good. We could always have design for public good or social good. Those kinds of, I think, events should also be organized from time to time, and I am sure government will be happy to partner into those things. Like I was seeing in US government for last 3 to 4 years, every year they're organizing an event called Government UX Summit. The UX focused on government, and it is a kind of a platform where people from government, people from design and user experience come together and exchange their thoughts, and also exchange the kind of good work they have done. It's a good big experience sharing platform. Lastly, I was thinking, because if you look at the platforms as I showed you, and they all together put a large amount of government budget, and which is taxpayers money. There is a lot of commonality among these things. If you talk of every day, there'll be a scheme. It will have some eligibility criteria. You apply for that scheme, then you will get that benefit. Similarly, when you apply for services, whether one certificate or other certificate, process is more or less kind of the same. So, is it possible that can we do a framework for design of public services, which again could give a baseline standard that if you comply to this, then one baseline standard to this extent, we have kind of one can be assured people at the senior level could be ensured. So these were the certain of thoughts which I wanted to share with you, and I'm very eager to hear from you your views on this. That how do we really motivate all of you, or really work towards designing public services which really cater to digital equity, or cater to people who are bottom of the pyramid. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You really gave us a good insight into the government schemes. I think most of us as users probably have very limited exposure to probably something very, very relevant to our kind of what you say use, which is I think the one that became very popular was the Arogya Setu app, because all of us were forced to actually use those. And I mean, it was so useful in terms of knowing a whole lot of other things, and which I think the way you presented seemed like for an individual, the various facets of their life as some kind of digital supplement in terms of the government connection. And very, very interesting. And also the fact that what you see on the screen is only a tip of the thing, and the process behind is very, very, very complex. I really appreciate that. And also you've opened up for the forum on the framework, and I'm sure both as users of these government services and also people who have a lot of, some of them, ma'am, here are people who have actually done some bit of work. For example, there is Yogesh, which I hope I can see, has done a lot of work on mass transport actually. So there are people in pockets have actually worked in for public good, probably not in the level of the scheme of projects that you shared with us. I'm sorry, I'm just open this session for any Q&A and thoughts, and probably more than anything, I think the forum here should actually propose some additional thoughts and ideas that Dr. Neeta is very, very keen to take back from. Open to all of you for any questions and comments. You could put that hand icon on if you have a question. Please go ahead. Yeah, Yogesh, you are the first. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I hope you can see me and
Yes.
hear me also. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and thanks, Ravi, for mentioning. And I think I joined the talk a little bit late, and I was just coming out of meeting. One question that I have, and I've been seeing this across all the projects that I'm working on. Generally, they get some app or some sort of a website or some sort of a portal developed to manage their digital data or services. And the organization from the government side absolutely has no capacity to handle it. So currently I'm working with one bus transport authority where they are struggling to get an app up uh, for lack of right set of people who can do it. They have given the website to an agency which is looking at it like any other product marketing website, where a bus system website should ideally not be like that. And the whole bus's ITMS system is right now not working because the contractor who came in has never given them the right side of things. So what is the way in which your organization, when you are there, or the government is looking at capacity building at the government end to manage this?
Very good question. There are two, three approaches we take. One, in any case, is that we have opened up a Section 8 company called NIC Services Incorporation, which is a kind of interface between the government and the industry. And it has on its panel IT companies from small size to mid size to big size. And government, whenever trying to engage any of these companies, they can use NICSI, and NICSI helps in putting that contract right. Like nowadays, they ensure that at least you have 3 years to 4 years contract. Maintenance of that project is also done by this. So that is one mechanism.
Hmm.
Like NICSI, many of the state governments also have their own Section 8 kind of societies and all, where people doing similar kind. In fact, they have even these consultants also engaged, all these big fours who can help these organizations working the right kind of, because it depends initially what kind of contract you have given accordingly, because private industry cannot really be going on free and doing it. If
Right.
initially you have bid it for, let's say, 5 years is 5 years. If you have done for 1 year, so what can they really do? So therefore, putting the initial contract right, and that is where these organizations are helping this thing.
Hmm.
Second thing, what we have done now, since we have cloud and all, lot of these small things which every government organization really asks for, we have converted into cloud based products, so
Hmm.
which they can directly, and since we are a government organization, they can always take us on nomination basis and directly hire these services, and then they can use these services. So we have converted the product, so we do not have to really, because we don't have that kind of a bandwidth also to be, because digital transformation at the scale which it is really growing is we are a small footprint organization. We have 800 offices, but very lean organization that way. So therefore, consciously 3 years ago we went into a product mode, converting all those popular projects into products so that they can be used by these organizations, and they are again ecosystem of agencies who can help these organizations put this product. So with this product of what you're saying, is the problem coming that how do you make a change? It is on cloud, so already the organization behind is maintaining that thing. You only have to do your bit of using it. That's another approach which we have taken. And anytime if anybody approaches us one to one where they get struck up, we definitely help. But I completely agree with you that I keep hearing these kind of cases, particularly from the smaller organizations at the state level, or maybe sometimes at the down level, where this kind of awareness is perhaps not there, or who could not perhaps access an IC. But instruments in government are very much available. Maybe the awareness to that level is not there. And anybody who once burns their fingers kind of then finally lands up somewhere on an IC's table, and then they get to know everything. But it's sad that sometimes they have to go through that experience.
Yeah, because the framework on standardizing the entire information delivery, ticket management system, or even the ITMS system for transport actually doesn't change from city to city. So
Definitely.
because there is some project that I've started working on, which is my own initiative. So it's I might even get in touch with you to develop a framework that can be deployed across the all
Mm.
cities in India. There
Yeah,
is a there is a cloud portal. If you are running a bus system, just use this and customize it for yourself and just manage it. So
yeah.
something like that. Every city is reinventing its own wheel, and we are wasting a lot of
That is
resources.
the reason. But I will also like to tell you maybe that we have a similar kind of a system, maybe not as evolved. I don't know what our Uttarakhand team had done for Uttarakhand bus transport system for this
Mm.
thing. And you will not believe that then I told them that you convert this into a product. It's
Mm.
so that others can. Today, 17 states have already adopted that system and used
Okay,
it. So
brilliant.
it is not that people are not keen to use these kind of products and platforms. Many a time our reach or awareness to that level, information is not known. It sometimes happens. Maybe you can also look at that system, talk to these people who are our NIC Uttarakhand, and that will be a good point to collaborate, I believe.
Yeah, so I think I will get in touch with you for this further discussion. I'll take contacts from Ravi on this.
Sure, sure.
Thanks for your time, madam, and also the talk.
Sure. One agenda point achieved. Sure,
Thanks.
sure, Yogesh. Ma'am, actually, I also it'll be nice to hear what Yogesh has done for
Sure.
the Mumbai Metro, and he has done some very extensive work. And he has been doing a lot of work in Pune bus transit to improve, educate people to adopt public transport. So it'll be very interesting beyond this to look at what Yogesh has said. Thank you, Yogesh. Thanks.
Thanks, thanks, Ravi. Thanks.
Anyone wants to go next? Satish, go ahead. It's a familiar face, I think. Dr. Neeta, if you can recognize Satish.
Yes.
I
Thank
wonder. This is Satish Babusen, and your ex-colleague from 30 years ago, I think. Ravi and I, yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
no, I'd just like to say it is such a pleasure to have listened to you after all these years. And I would also like to say how happy we all are that, you could reach that position, the head of that organization, a giant organization where you could manage to do so much. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice seeing you after so many years.
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
Uh, Before, thanks, Satish. Any other question comes up, ma'am, I want you to very quickly give this group that you spoke about the Arogya Setu, for example. I mean, though you think it's a very not so complex an application, but
Mhm.
there was the designer in the room and how you facilitated that process to bring that element of design. If you can just throw some light to this audience, it will be very helpful, ma'am.
Sure, sure. No, I didn't say that Arogya Setu was not complicated. It is technically, I said in terms of functionality, it was simple, but technically, it was one of the it is one of the very, very advanced application. It used data science, it used artificial intelligence, it used geospatial technologies. So it's a very far advanced analytics. So Arogya Setu was a very interesting experience. The initial months of COVID, we had seen how in some countries were badly suffering. So government was kind of deliberating that what kind of, and then we got some proposals from some of the startups and organizations that this kind of app could be done, and maybe they had some experience from the other countries and things like this. So we kind of evaluated out of those apps, did rigorous discussions and this thing, and picked up one of that app, which was at a very, very basic level at that time. And this app was being done by a group of people who are working in various startups and companies, but all have had come on a pro bono basis to really work with government to develop this app. And so we took one of that app as a baseline app, and then obviously so many senior people in the government were associated to make everything right in terms of testing the algorithm, testing the data science model, how accurate that is. But one thing good was there, since there were a lot of people from startup community and all this, the design part, I mean, there was a lot of discussion. I mean, I've never seen that kind of a detailed discussions on design, that how should it, because always it was mine that everybody in India has to access, and those complexities were back of mind. So even the placement of icon or design of icon, in what is the order, how much information to ask for every item of information, is it really necessary to ask this information, should you place it at the bottom, where should you place which information, because you had that small mobile app, then the complexity of how is it working on different platforms or different mobiles available. The lot of discussion happen on that, and therefore, if you see the interface of Aragya Setu is not only aesthetically done well. I mean, in terms of its accessibility and usability also. I mean, because we used to constantly hear out in terms of feedback, there has not been much or any negative feedback in the people could easily found it. I mean, and this is when we were changing this app, because of the new features and new ideas were coming, and the COVID situation was also changing. So I think almost every fortnight we are bringing out a new release with some new functionalities. but simply by bringing those release notes and sometimes a press release, we could easily manage do so. And that was a very collaborative exercise where people from government, people from industry, people from startups, and from academia, everybody came together to this common cause. And since it was so passionate about it, and that was, and I think this whole thing went on for about 2 to 3 months. And that was that the and so what I'm trying to say, that each of the sector, private, government, has its own strengths. So building these kind of systems which are really targeted at these billion people really need that kind of a collaboration. So the right partners could bring right kind of a thing. Because see, what you need to really be motivated is that lakhs and crores of rupees is being spent on delivering these services and these subsidies to the citizens. And most of the time digital platform is at the base of it. By making sometimes, by making simple changes, simple into these interfaces or into these whole processes, you can perhaps make a major impact which can influence million of people's life, because this is touching. You tell me, in government, like if you look at MG Narega, 15 crore people using one portal or one app. Where do you, in private sector or even anywhere in the world, you get these kind of systems? Where do you get an opportunity to work of a system of that scale which is being used at that size and that scale? So and people with, and then added with the kind of complexity of the diversity you have. So I think design wise also, I feel you should be really enthused, and it's a challenge to do a system which really can help people with this kind of a diversity, single interface. And that is what I think should motivate all of us, because through this you will do that public service. I mean, by doing it, not only it's definitely an assignment for you on a professional manner, but the kind of impact this assignment will do, I am I don't think you will really get these kind of opportunities often in your lifetime.
That's fantastic, man. I think yes. I mean the sheer impact itself can be a great motivator. Just on behalf of the group, before any question comes up, I have one more. If anybody in this group or those who will be watching this video sessions tomorrow and have some ideas and they want to participate, what are the channels with which even as a either in terms of doing it on a paid basis or as a volunteer to help better these products, what are the channels with which we interface, ma'am, for the government?
There are many channels. Like I first of, I mean, now since I have recently superannuated from NIC, so directly I'm not there. But even if you contact me, I'll be able to put you in touch with those people. Second thing is, if you go to NIC's website, you'll be able to get the contact from the people who are leading these projects in various sectors. Like you will get mobile number to email, everything right there. You can directly contact them. You can always contact NICSI, because NICSI is often a key execution agency as well as these companies are there. In fact, as a matter of fact, a few months ago, NICSI had called for an empanelment of different tiers of agencies as far as design is concerned. A lot of consultation was also happened by various design agencies to work out a RFP, because we understood that design assignments are different than the normal software development assignments. So they had also done consultation to see that how should this whole RFP be, or RFQ should be designed. But I was told at the end, despite doing all that engagement and effort, the response to that RFQ was not very exciting that way. It was absolutely slow. I do not know why it happened and how it happened. So, but NICSI is all NICSI. The one thing which has happened, in the last, especially I can say NICSI and NIC and many government, the need for having a good UI UX is very much understood. There's a lot of sensitization. Often, when I was in NIC, I used to hear from my design team, from my project teams who are doing these national level projects, used to say that we are not able to get good design professionals from the market, even when we are trying to contact, so to say, the top IT companies of the India, because everybody is kind of have very few resources and they really want to use them, maybe where they get payments in dollars or euros. I don't know what it is, but this is how this turns out to be.
Sure, man. I think that's a very useful information. We should be able to propagate this amongst this community. And I'm sure there are lots of people who, at least as volunteer designers, I mean, who probably pick up one aspect of the product, they have an idea, they should be able to share and help improve these products, definitely. Anyone has a question? Ganesh, are you there? Ganesh Gaikwad?
Yes, yes, Ravi, I am there.
Yeah. I'm sure you are someone who is extremely conscious about public services products. So I hope you have some thoughts to add.
Yeah. So thanks. I was thinking all through when Dr. Neeta was explaining all her things. Ma'am, I have a kind of comment and a question. So you said that the Manarega portal is used by 15 crores, but one thing I want to ask you is there a choice for the user to use anything else for their purpose? So in that sense, I think what you design is in a monopolic situation, uh, because people what NIC delivers, they have to use NIC only. It's not like open market. So you have that as an advantage, but it comes with a great responsibility also. And I'm sure people there are doing a lot of it. And I was checking uh, the ratings for Arogya Setu. It is 3.9 currently, and I think why can't it be like 4.5 or above? Because India, people don't rate. Too many people don't rate, unlike progressed economies. So we get very few ratings. So it could be possible. So these are kind of comments. I'm sorry if those are not really, you know. So my point is, when we are talking with so many people in the country, is there a mechanism that a designer can reach out and suggest something? Because what Yogesh was saying, it is extremely difficult for us to penetrate the organizations like this. I also tried my hand at Pune Municipal Corporation and all that. It is very difficult, and you being a very senior person for so many years, if you give us some strategy, or you can probably put your own data on the website, usability test data or something like that, that could inspire the users, because everybody is not behind the RFP or things, but there are a lot of people in IDC group who will be voluntarily able to help out. So if you could give us some kind of a suggestion on that, how we can participate, that will be good. Thank you.
No, I think you're right. See, when in NIC we design system, because we know at this point of time, as you're saying, you are only designing a monopolistic system. So we have to open all the channels. While we open self-service channel, we have to open the assisted service channel at the same time, so that people who really want to be still connected should not be left out of the. And that is how 15 crore, maybe a very small percentage, will be doing themselves. Largely it is being done by somebody else on their behalf, and you have to be always work with the ground reality. As far as your participation is concerned, that is the reason I was not saying RFP. I was saying that NICSI was wanting to empanel a list of designers as well as design agencies for 3 years or 5 years. Once you are onto there, so any assignment then can be that you can participate in all those assignments. And we have GEM also, where also this opportunity is there. So that was not to bidding to individual. It is one time exercise where you are on board, you kind of become government's accredited set of people, and then it becomes for any government entity to easily hire your services. So and as far as coming pro bono, I think then some of you have to help. One could also work out a design challenge, but we'll not have people who will be really able to articulate, or maybe collaboratively that can be done. That where we put in this kind of a design challenge, and where people, that's the reason I said, could be people could participate in this, and then we could come up with some good designs as a part, or design review. Many such things can happen, but somewhere we have to collaborate and work towards that.
Thank you, ma'am.
So it looks like as a response, ma'am, you're saying NICSI is one first step towards finding ways to, as a channel to participate. I think that's very useful. We'll also publish this to a larger group here so that they can utilize this opportunity. Anybody else? And there are a few who I know. Chaudhary, you have a question? Chaudhary, are you there? I'm just trying to pick people who have some bit of work that they have done in the overlapping with government services. We may have time for just one question, one last question. Anybody else? Jayakrishnan is there. Jayakrishnan?
Yes. No, I just wanted to listen to Madam because I was working with NIC till 2000 and was to Madam, and she was one of the mentors to me in my professional career. So just got the from my past colleagues at NIC, and also Ravi Krishnan, as Satish was mentioning. He reminded me of this talk, so I just thought of joining to listen to Madam and to say hello.
Thank you.
So nice, so nice. So, ma'am, you also have a fan club, looks like.
No, it's a privilege to be working with all these people, you know.
Yeah, we are
fortunate to have a good team, you know, and that is why we could do so much work.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we have witnessed those fundamental work that happened so many years back, and how it has set the stage for a lot of big things to happen. We are exactly on closure time, and on behalf of the alumni, ma'am, it's such a pleasure to listen to you, and not just about knowing the kind of opportunities that is there for designers. We also gave us some direction as to how some of us can engage and participate in this. Definitely, I'm sure post this there'll be people who would actually either reach out to you or use those channels that you have proposed to engage, and certainly we want to participate and improve the public services, and definitely want to see our citizens get much better technology in their hands than what they do have right now. First of all, thanks a lot for taking your time. I know it's not easy from your schedule to devote this kind of time to this group, and I know that you did this because of your passion for design, and we are so fortunate to have somebody who vouches for design and also waiting for some of us to participate. That also puts a lot of pressure on us to how do we respond to these challenges and the opportunities they have. So thank you so much, ma'am, and I thank each and every attendee today. This session would actually be on video. Mostly, ma'am, the viewership for the video is much higher, and so all of you get the link tomorrow, and there are more talks to come like this, and I wish to see you more and more participate in this, and I wish you all the best. Have a great. Thank you.
Ravi, before you close, I want to also thank you for this. Is I think we are nearing 50 programs,
Yeah.
but organizing this session, which was one of the most important sessions we had. So a big thanks to you and the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, my co-volunteers, Rajagopal Verma and Rahul, I mean, all of them have been so supportive. Ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you. Thank you, everyone.
yeah, I'm switching the record off. And
Okay, I'll just sign off. Bye, everyone.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye.